We don't have much time. We have a lot of very sick people right now in hospitals all over the place.
The federal response to the coronavirus still isn't where it needs to be.
We absolutely feel like we are in this alone as doctors, nurses, paramedics, and even hospitals.
Doctors and nurses sounding the alarm on dangerously low medical supplies.
We are all first responders. Your actions can either save or endanger a life.
Millions of Americans ordered to stay home as coronavirus cases increase across the country. NBC 15 News at 10 starts now.
This morning, I signed an executive order directing nearly all of our 9 million residents to quite simply stay at home.
We direct a statewide order for people to stay at home.
Tonight, more than 80 million Americans are under mandatory lockdown orders. New Jersey is the latest state to order folks to simply stay home as the country struggles to slow the spread of the coronavirus.
It's really hard to feel like you're saving the world when you're watching Netflix from your couch. But if we do this right, nothing happens.
COVID-19 cases in the United States have now topped 25,000 as testing ramps up across the country. The death toll now stands at 300. The number of global cases is more than 300,000, with nearly 13,000 deaths globally. Now, more cases are being confirmed in Alabama as testing is becoming more available in the northern part of the state. The total now stands at 131, including 2 in Mobile County and 2 in Baldwin County. According to the Alabama Department of Public Health, only 1,258 Alabamians have been tested so far. Here in Mobile, it's day 2 of tents sitting empty at Ladd Peoples Stadium and at the grounds as testing kits remain unavailable on a wide scale. Last night, Mayor Sandy Stimpson confirmed he and the city struck a deal with Synergy Laboratories to develop and deliver as many as 10,000 test kits as early as next week, but more likely April 1st. Meanwhile, a local urgent care says it is tired of waiting for testing kits and is taking it upon themselves to get them. The Greater Mobile Urgent Care says it will be testing patients beginning Monday. NBC 15's Rachel Wilkerson is live from that West Mobile location now. Rachel?
Lance, on-site COVID-19 testing will be offered here in a triage away from other patients. I'm told the clinic is expected to test around 100 patients on Monday.
We felt like people needed to test, and we're here, and we're going to get it ramped up and going.
Dr. Darren Waters says Greater Mobile Urgent Care is ready to test hundreds of people for COVID-19. It's the first urgent care in the city providing coronavirus testing.
I was able to finally find a few private labs and get together some of our viral swabs that we've had in all of our clinics, and we got enough together where we can test actually several hundred to several thousand, and so we're excited and ready to go.
Dr. Waters says his clinic took the initiative to provide these kits because of the lack of widespread testing in Mobile.
We're tired of waiting, and patients are tired of waiting. The community's tired of waiting.
Right now, all 4 Mobile hospitals are only offering limited testing.
It's just very frustrating. You see these hot spots around the country, and the biggest complaint is we really don't know how much is out there in our community. Everybody has a strong suspicion that it's out there and possibly even widespread, but we haven't been able to test for it. We've been waiting with Mobile County Health Department. We've been waiting with the Alabama Department of Public Health. We've been on phone calls with hospitals, and testing has just not been available.
So here's how COVID-19 testing will work at the Greater Mobile Urgent Clinic in West Mobile. Patients are instructed to call the telehealth line, and a physician will diagnose them over the phone. It's the same for those concerned about other illnesses.
Basically, if you're concerned you have the coronavirus, you have fever, chills, shortness of breath, cough, any of those symptoms, you can call the same telehealth line, and we will get you in touch with one of our physicians and do a screening phone call and see if you meet criteria to get tested. If you do, we will right away schedule an appointment.
He says while the impact of coronavirus locally is still uncertain, he recommends people continue to practice social distancing.
Everybody needs to take this very serious, and if you don't want to do it for yourself, do it for the elderly or the people that are immunocompromised. And, let's socially isolate.
Dr. Waters says it may open a second testing site, doubling the amount of possible patients a day to around 200. He's also amped up the staff and training. Reporting live in West Mobile, Rachel Wilkerson, NBC 15 News.
Rachel, thank you. And tonight, Mayor Stimson has released a message to his constituents saying testing is expected April 1st. Meanwhile, Infirmary Health is launching an appointment-only drive-through testing site beginning Monday. Tomorrow morning at 7 a.m., you can begin calling the hotline number to discuss your symptoms with an operator and make an appointment. The lines will be open from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. tomorrow through Friday, March 27th. In order to get an appointment, you must meet a certain criteria. Visit our website, mynbc15.com, right now to find out that information. And while we're still waiting on more testing kits here in Mobile County today, the FDA approved a new and faster testing that should shorten the time to determine a COVID-19 test to just 45 minutes. The California-based company is manufacturing the tests and says they will begin shipping next week. And a reminder, Alabama has a coronavirus hotline. There's the number right there on your screen. You can call with any questions you may have about the coronavirus. And the Mobile County Health Department says it does not provide or recommend COVID-19 testing for people returning to work after an illness. If you've been sick and isolating at home, according to CDC guidelines, the health department says you can leave home after these three things have happened. A, you've been fever-free for at least 72 hours. B, your symptoms have improved. And C, at least 7 days have passed since your symptoms first appeared. Now, the USA student we told you about Thursday is now back in the United States after being stuck in Peru for days. However, 2 more students and an instructor are still stuck in Peru. Will Rayner tells NBC 15 News he got a call today to get to the airport and board a flight to Miami. And a Mobile native and her husband are also stuck. They spoke with a reporter from our NBC affiliate in Cincinnati. They are stuck trying to get home. Carol Lovelady is from Mobile. She's a graduate of Murphy. She and her husband are now living in Cincinnati, but they left for their cruise to Africa nearly a month ago when the coronavirus seemed to just be a China problem. But after making just one stop in Dubai, they've now been trapped at sea for 16 days and are docked in Cape Town.
They had told us that once we left the ship, we would not be allowed to go anywhere but the airport. Right. We would not be allowed to come back to the ship if our parent doesn't go. So right now, we're hoping.
Carol and Mike have a flight booked, but if it gets canceled, they're not sure what they will do. And the Carnival Fantasy is now docked at the cruise terminal. It will remain there for the next month or so while cruising is banned. And in Washington, where tonight lawmakers remain hard at work at a mammoth piece of legislation some believe could reach $2 trillion. The need is everywhere as Americans continue to lose their jobs and hospitals work tirelessly to keep up with the demands from the virus. Sinclair national correspondent Christine Frizzell brings us the latest from Washington and tells us what to expect in the coming days.
Senators on Capitol Hill working through the weekend to finalize a massive economic rescue plan, with questions swirling on the best ways to help American workers and the American economy.
We've been working through tough issues, and we must do it in short order.
Thousands of workers have already been furloughed or laid off.
A few sticking points: emergency funding to states, direct payments to Americans, and expanded unemployment insurance.
We are making progress on a bipartisan basis.
Meanwhile, the top group representing the airline industry issued a letter warning time is running out, and unless payroll protection grants are passed, they may have to start furloughing workers. Healthcare workers also sounding the alarm bells as medical supplies like masks and gloves are running out.
We absolutely feel like we are in this alone as doctors, nurses, paramedics, and even hospitals.
The White House Coronavirus Task Force issuing a plea to the public not to get tested if you're not showing symptoms.
When you go in and get tested, you are consuming personal protective equipment, masks and gowns. Those are high priority for the healthcare workers who are taking care of people who have coronavirus disease.
Nearly half of the country's more than 24,000 cases are in New York State alone. Governor Andrew Cuomo revealing more than half of those are residents aged 18 to 49 years old.
This is a public health issue, and you cannot endanger other people's health. You shouldn't be endangering your own.
And senators say they'll continue work on the federal emergency relief package through Sunday and remain optimistic they'll be done by Monday.
On Capitol Hill, I'm Christine Frizzau.
Well, the drafting of that bill is now underway with a procedural vote in the Senate scheduled for tomorrow afternoon. Earlier this week, the Archdiocese of Mobile suspended Mass through next month. However, there is still a way you can take part in service. The Archdiocese official broadcast Mass for the homebound airs on her sister station, UTV 44. It will air at 10:30 Sunday mornings. Just to note that this week's Mass was recorded March 10th before public Masses were suspended. And in Sims, Word in Season Ministries will offer drive-in church service tomorrow morning at 11 a.m. Pastor Ronald Moten plans to give his message from the entrance of the building while parishioners sit in their cars. And a message from Spring Hill College today. After such life-changing semester, school officials want to reassure students that a commencement will be held for seniors of 2020, the school year 2020. This is not a specific date. They don't have that set yet, but they do want to acknowledge their accomplishments. And with the rest of the school year in limbo, we want to give a shout out to the seniors all set to graduate. Here's just a few of the hundreds of photographs we've received over the last 24 hours. You can send us the pics of your senior. We'd love to see them. Just download our free NBC 15 app. Click Explore at the bottom of the screen, then click Chime In. You can also visit mynbc15.com/chime in. After you upload, check out the gallery to see the other seniors graduating this year. And here at NBC 15, we are committed to keeping you in the know with accurate information. We have an entire section dedicated to COVID-19 coverage on our website. Still ahead on the program, debunking myths. Rumors about the coronavirus are filling the internet, and some people believe them.
Salute to our veterans. Sponsored by Navigator Credit Union, guiding the Gulf Coast since 1939.
NBC 15 News is giving a salute to our veterans. And tonight we honor First Lieutenant James Butler, who served in the U.S. Air Force. He died during the Vietnam War. He was from Pensacola, and we thank you for your service and for giving the ultimate sacrifice, First Lieutenant James Butler.
This is NBC 15 News, winner of Best Newscast from the Alabama Broadcasters Association.
As the coronavirus cases surge, every minute is critical for scientists trying to stop the spread of the disease. But there is some hope. These are the newest images of COVID-19. Researchers at Walter Reed are finding out more about why the virus is so deadly, saying those sharp objects sticking out of this microscopic protein essentially stabs patients' lungs and hooks onto them. Now the race is on to figure out how to stop them.
I think probably the best kind of arms race in that we're not working in opposition with one another, we're working in collaboration with one another.
Researchers are working hard, but even a fast-track vaccine isn't expected to be ready for at least a year. One doctor called it the most challenging scenario she has faced in her entire career.
It's very, very urgent because we know that if we don't do this, that the current pandemic is just going to continue until there are solutions that are effective. And we're doing our best to stop it as quickly as we can.
And unfortunately, conspiracy theories about where the new coronavirus came from are spreading fast as the virus itself. Some claim COVID-19 was developed in a Chinese lab. Sinclair investigative reporter Dwayne Pullman debunks that as a myth.
In February, sensational headlines like this began appearing in newspapers across the country, claiming the coronavirus may have leaked from a Chinese lab.
But that coverage was not news. These were opinion pieces, fueled by China's move to strengthen lab safety and biotech security as the coronavirus began spreading. While social media posts continued to echo that a lab in Wuhan, ground zero for COVID-19, leaked the deadly virus, scientific evidence is debunking those claims. This week, Science Daily published the results of a Scripps Research Institute's analysis of the coronavirus's genome sequence. Researchers found COVID-19 is a product of natural evolution. The Chinese suspect this food market in Wuhan, which had live animals for sale, is where the pandemic began. The latest research came up with two possible scenarios for how that may have happened. In the first scenario, bats were the original carriers of COVID-19. The bats then infected another animal, which then jumped to humans. In the other scenario, coronavirus may have jumped directly to humans from a pangolin, an ant-eating mammal native to Asia. One author of the study writes, "It is difficult, if not impossible, to know at this point which of the scenarios is most likely." A leading scientist says the study's conclusion is definitive, ending any speculation about deliberative genetic engineering. Bottom line, coronavirus wasn't released from a lab in China or anywhere else. Continuing to claim that is just plain wrong. I'm Dwayne Pullman.
Well, hospitals and caregivers are doing their best to meet the rapidly growing pandemic. In an America This Week interview, Eric Bolling spoke with Dr. Oz on how hospitals are handling the burden and what drugs are being used to treat coronavirus patients.
We have a thin line, a thin margin for error on our ICU beds. How close to maxing out are we, and what happens if it does go into June, July, or even August?
Well, my hospital in New York City is already pretty full, and they're able to keep up, but they're on the edge. We have a series of emergency plans in place that they could allow us to accommodate more sick folks. But just to make a point about the expectations, although the number of cases will continue to increase, the number that are sick enough to go to an ICU, and more importantly, the number who die, we don't believe will increase as rapidly. Again, that's because we're getting better and better at treating these folks. We now have the ability to take medications that are already successful for other viruses like Ebola or HIV and repurpose them to use it for coronavirus.
Now you can see the interview with Dr. Oz on our website, mynbc15.com, and on our sister station, WEAR, tonight at 10:30. All right, live look at the radar right now. Nothing much out there. That little green is just ground clutter, no real moisture. That should continue into tomorrow. There is about a 30% chance of rain Sunday and Monday. And then temperatures warm up into the mid-80s this week, lows in the upper 60s overnight. Be sure to download the NBC 15 weather app and stay on top of the changing weather conditions while you're on the go. And still to come, Reese's Senior Bowl is helping college athletes with a shot at the NFL in these hard times. Well, the coronavirus has decimated the sports world, canceling virtually everything that draws a crowd, and that includes a lot of NFL prospects' pro days. It's a day they perform for the league's decision makers leading up to the draft. Well, the Senior Bowl is doing its part to help those players. Today, tweeting out a step-by-step instruction video on how to produce a pro day video of their own to NFL specifications. The athletes can then submit their video to NFL teams. And due to restaurants and bars only offering takeout and delivery services at this time, the Band Together benefit will be streaming online tomorrow at 4 p.m. All the proceeds are going to go to the local music industry. You can find out how to participate by visiting our website, mynbc15.com.
You picked a fine time to leave me, Lucille.
Legendary singer Kenny Rogers has passed away at the age of 81. He dominated the charts in the 70s and 80s. A huge success as a solo artist, Rogers also gained a wide following by recording collaborations with the likes of Sheena Easton, Dottie West, and Dolly Parton. He sold more than 120 million records and won numerous Grammy Awards in his 6-decade singing career. One last look at our 7-day. You can see temperatures warming up into the lower 80s by the end of the week, looking pretty nice with just a pretty small chance of rain. And thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Don't forget, for the very latest overnight news, you can go to our website, mynbc15.com. Have a good night and stay healthy.